Hello guys, Chop came back here once. Get outside of you. Can Miyata Ichiro take on the Tiger Tsunami known as Takeshi Sendo? Yes, the ultimate matchup, the ultimate showdown. I just thought about this because we're reaching chapter 1401. I'm juiced up, I'm fired up. Let's get into this. Can Sendo, the Tiger of Nanua, take on the Lightning God from Tokyo? I don't know. My goodness. Quite a response. But it really did bring us to a question of recently, could a Miyata defeat Sendo? Could Miyata have the basic attributes to defeat the Takeshi Sendo? Because there is a one, because you look at the basic attributes, by default Miyata got better footwork, the Sendo got excellent pressure, and it has been shown that Miyata can get cornered by Sendo. But, from that same way, Miyata got excellent to fantastic. For that same man, Miyata got excellent, fantastic rope and corner control. He can just Bobby weave out the way. Not including the fact he can easily set up Sendo for a counter, but from that same merit, Sendo can easily set up Miyata for a counter into a dual exchange. And it also comes down to, can the joke counter drop Sendo? How much the joke counter and the other counters that Miyata got can have an effect on Sendo? Cause sure, there's more base attributes than that. Sure, there's multiple different things, and sure, Miyata would have to fight Sendo similar to Alfredo Gonzalez or Jose Nargo, but just like them, that's not a long-term solution. Not including the fact, since Miyata does punch so straight that he don't really use hooks or uppercuts, it does make him weaken against Sendo. Because without those extra different without that different type of mix-up, like the confuser will set Sendo up with punches, Sendo can easily track him down and corner him. So, unlike Wally, Miyata don't really have those attributes. But even then, similar to Sendo, I can't really say we've seen the best Miyata in the fight. We're just looking with perfection. He hasn't reached the level of a Ryo Mishima yet. But, come close. I can't even say come close. I can't even say come close. He has improved his counters, but never really seemed like a Mishima. Where it's just like he closed up all his major big gaps, and it's just like, aside from Miyata, it's pretty much good. But for the Sendo vs Miyata argument, I say it'll be an excellent fight. It'll be magnificent, but it all depends. It depends on a few factors. It all depends. Because even though Miyata is more similar to a don't fight the same, because Jose Nargo was pretty much pulling the pressure, and Alfredo Gonzalez was just excellent boxing fundamentals, but they don't really counter specialists like a Samu or Ryuhei is. Miyata is. And with that on top of Sendo's weak defense. People crack a lot of jokes about Ippo with the whole face block thing. Never understood how that became a thing. But from that same merit, his brother from another mother, Sendo from Osaka, is even worse. This man eats punches like he's eating grits for dinner. He just keeps taking them. And so he blocks when he needs to, but he is compounded to eat punches. But it depends on how juiced up and high intensity Sendo is, that Sendo could take the early rounds. Just by the intensity, just because of the pressure. And Miyata would have to think outside the box because of the whole forearm guard he did in sparring. And he would have to come up with something. Now I guess the Ashura, Randy Boy Jr., he never really did solve that whole that straight punching syndrome and being a headhunter. He never really did. From what I recall, I am a little rusty here. From what I recall, he never did outright solve that problem. He just came up with an even better punch and an even better counter to succeed the last counter. A counter that went beyond what his father could ever dream of. The joke counter was just the first step. But the counter beyond that, I forgot what it's called, was even better. But I don't know, it depends. It depends. Because even though Sendo got good endurance, Sendo has been dropped before. Sendo has been milli-whopped before. Milli-whopped. He has been on spaghetti legs, but the likes of Vork, but the likes of Alf to a certain degree, to the likes of especially Makanushi, where he got knocked unconscious and he's still going on like an animal. So it's not like Sendo doesn't have any weaknesses. There's a big difference between Sendo's and Miyata's endurance. But if you can hit somebody with a proper counter, the punching power don't really mean nothing. So it's just. And then you got things that Miyata can't really prepare for. And that is the classic Sendo smash. Cause sure, Sendo can get inside easily of Miyata's jabs. Well, from the last time we seen Miyata, we don't know how much he improved from the Randy fight, cause he really didn't add any uppercuts or switch things up. Aside from potential like an overhand right counter, I'm a little rusty. He never did really truly solve that problem. No one ever expected him to be an uppercut specialist, but it does help mix up his punches and make him not stop being purely a headhunter. But there are things you can't prepare for, like with the Sendo stepping deep in like he did against Shigeta. There's no real way to prepare for that. And against Ippo, not including the fact if Miyata does get in the corner, get into the corner, we'll get to see an old classic technique we haven't seen from Sendo since Shigeta and Makunouchi, and that is Sendo's crouching stance. He drops his hit low and he just released a relentless combination, pounding his opponent into the corner. We've never really seen any other character do that, where they have trapped somebody in the corner and just drop their hips and weight like that. And then there's another factor, the super smash. Does Miyata have the eyesight to predict the super smash and to counter it? And if he is able to do such a thing, Sendo will not go gently into that good night, but it will be extremely hurt. The damage will be severe. But will it be enough? Will it be enough? 'Cause one person explained it best. Sendo is like a slash villain. The more damage it takes, the worse it's gonna get. It just you gotta stop him out cold. Another person to do is Ippo after a vicious, relentless combination and 2 Dempsey rolls. Wow, that's actually disturbing. Cause Sendo has been outpointed before, at least 2 to 3 times. But you haven't really been too often out-punched before. Cause, similar to, I guess, like Ricardo Martinez, he always had been out-jabbed before, but he hasn't really been out-punched before. And Miyata does have some decent inside fighting fundamentals. Now, they haven't done it against he hasn't done it like an infighter like an Ippo or Sendo, but we have seen him go against infighters where he's mocked them, used a similar infighting style, caught him with a counter, blowing his mouth guard out, and putting him gently into that good night. Miyata has done such things, but that wouldn't work out too well for it. I guess a Sendo though. Sendo is not. Yeah, Sendo's not like a traditional infighter at all. He does fight at medium range, so compared to Ippo, where that thing would be a lot better to do against in certain situations, Miyata won't be able to get that close to Sendo before a smash gets thrown out or the relentless combination. Not cool in the fact if Sendo chooses to step in deep and then pressure on and apply the pressure. So it's not like Miyata can't clinch. It's not like Miyata can't use the work to his advantage. This man is based off of Sugar Ray Leonard. But it does present some interesting matchups, some interesting fundamentals here of what could happen. Well, who will win the fight? I really don't know. It is one of those fights where it's we don't know until we see it put on the screen. I really can't, because I can't give Sendo outright the edge, especially into the later rounds, depending on how well Miyata can. And his pressure and his punching is relentless, unpredictable, and outright savage. Enough power to throw himself off balance. It's not like Miyata haven't fought strong opponents before, or it's a good decent punching power. But the most experience he got to somewhere like an Ippo or Sendo was going against Ippo back in sparring days. Besides from that, like he said, when he was fighting that one guy he didn't really care about fighting, he's the only one who ever been able to experience Makunouchi's punches. He's the only one. After all these years I've trained and prepared, my body, you're not good enough. Try harder, do better. Jeez, if you want to win, actually make me feel like I need to do something. And Miyata goes on to beat him. But and I do think it presents an interesting matchup. Because the same way Sendo has a fought like Miyata, same way Miyata has a fought like a person like Sendo, it's similar to how Sendo hasn't really fought a person like Miyata. He has sparred with a Miyata, infamously enough, but that was just sparring. Because similar to Itagaki versus Amai in sparring, or inside the in the amateurs in high school, Itagaki got his wig peeled all the way back. But in the actual fight, Itagaki was able to edge out a split, a decision against Amai. A decision that traumatized him ever since. And not traumatized, a decision that upset Amai for years. A decision that took Amai to lengths that was unacceptable. To the point where anything to win, legitimately. Anything. I'm gonna force him to his corner. I'm gonna take the punches. I'm gonna keep going. Pure attrition. Pure attrition. I am a little rusty. Things does feel a little different here. But overall, this matchup, I think it's an excellent fight. I paid for that on pay-per-view. But the same way you can say Miyata got advantages, the same way Sendo got advantages. Especially since the last time we've seen him. But we say that Sendo does have the edge in the quality of opposition with footwork and jabs. He has fought against a Gonzalez. He has fought against a Jose Nargo. But from that same merit, Miyata does have some of that early experience from Ippo and some other infighters, but nobody really fights like Sendo at all. So, and there's nothing you can really do to prepare you for. Like I was saying in the chapter 1401, that there's nothing you can really do to prepare for a Sendo. And sure, you can find somebody similar to him, but that's not gonna really work. So, but to the same merit, Miyata is too. And it'll be a lot easier for Miyata to dominate a person like Sendo depending in what state Sendo is in, because Sendo does not have like a Mr. mode like a Freddy Gonzalez, but he does when he gets frustrated or get punched back or pushed into a certain scenario. Against Jose Nargo, he does start to throw out some wild punches. But then again, that was against Jose. It was using a totally different tactic. So, But we do have learned a nice lesson, boys and girls, that you cannot dual exchange Sendo. You're not gonna win. All right, you're not gonna. Like even it's similar to Ippo versus Senbukuro. Ippo lost the dual exchange at first, and then eventually he got the win on top of the Dempsey roll. But you just do not dual exchange with Sendo. Sendo hits harder than Ippo. He's bigger than Ippo, and it's not gonna work. All right, it's not going to work. You're not gonna win. You do not dual exchange with Sendo. I hope everybody can finally get this. Do they flip skulls? Do not dual exchange with Sendo, and do not get backed up into the corner either. Because apparently the corner and violating people is Sendo's specialty. No, the corner and ropes is Sendo's specialty to violate somebody. We've seen it with Ippo. We have seen it with Shigeta. We have seen it with Jose Nargo. And we have seen it with Death God Gonzalez. When you touch them ropes, Sendo would take your head right off your shoulders. But could that make Sendo predictable? It depends. Because there's no guarantee he'll use smash. And he does take counters and get back up from him. So, but I think an excellent counter would be if Sendo was to go for the super smash. Well, he thinks he got Miyata in the corner, and if Miyata's able to time that with a joke counter, there is no guarantee that Takeshi would get back up from that. But then again, this is Sendo. Sendo, he eats. It is Sendo. It's not just clear cut as one single punch. Sendo's going gently to that good night. It's similar to like an Ippo versus Miyata type thing. Now, Ippo and Miyata Ippo and Sendo are fundamentally different, but there are some similarities in comparison. But Wazen already figured it out, and he's been apparently got even better when he was able to track down Waller into a corner. So if he could do that against Miyata, but then again, Miyata could improve. But then again, how is this fight happening in the first place? Because Miyata is in his last days of ever being a featherweight. So even then, if a drained Miyata go against Sendo, he only does get like a few good rounds until Sendo does take the advantage. But let's say, hypothetical, Sendo Miyata meet at a catch weight, and it's just Miyata was able to retain some of that stuff from the early days. He won't lose out on stamina to the weight control. If that Miyata go against Sendo, because we've yet to see the best Miyata without weight control. So if that Miyata go against Sendo, that is a fight worthy of pay-per-view. Shut up and take my money. That'll be a fantastic. It'll be the best of the best. There'll be no excuses, no nothing. It'll just be Sendo versus Miyata. And I think about it. Miyata is taller than Sendo. Like he's taller than Kimura. And Kimura's like 5'7", Sendo's like 5'6". I think Miyata's like 5'9" or 5'8", somewhere around there now. Hmm. That's an advantage to the Miyata. He is taller than him. And technically, he is bigger. The Sendo might have to go through as heavy of weight control, but depending how Miyata rehydrates, he'll come in weighing more than 127 or like 135 or 130. So, it can be like a 128. That's a good point. Miyata is taller than Sendo. And as far as you know, if you're, that's a good point. As far as you know, from Jose Nargo, the only real dangerous punch from Sendo you do need to watch out for is the smash. But then again, that has been a piece of Sendo's arsenal that has been locked off. He has not switched stances and lose his left-handed smash, his right-handed smash, in about 20 years. Ever since he fought Ippo, so where's that in the Super Smash? Who knows? But we have seen him do the step in. Where's his crouching stance? Nobody knows. And where's his forearm guard? He usually gets Miyata in sparring. It depends on the opposition. Because Jose Nargo and Freddy Gonzalez do throw different type of punches and hooks and uppercuts. So it's not like he could easily do that against them as he did against Miyata. He's purely a headhunter and a straight puncher. It's an interesting matchup. It is an interesting matchup, no matter which way you look at it. It is magnificent. It is a fight, especially if Miyata don't got to deal with the weight control, which is the only reason Randy Boy Jr. started to win that fight in the first place. If you take out the weight control and it's a fully hydrated Miyata versus a Sendo, that is prime time pay-per-view Las Vegas material right here. That fight would be magnificent. It would be great. But it did still come down to the question of who would win. Because even if you just use, or you get everything from the previous option, Miyata got his counter footwork. He can in-fight temporarily. He can shoulder roll. He can work the ropes if he needs to. And he got footwork and an excellent jab. And you add in all those attributes to him being a counter specialist on the likes of Semo, not on the same level, but close to a Semo Ruhei, another person that's given Sendo trouble inside the ring. It could create an interesting match here. But from that same merit, if Miyata slips up, only thing it does is take one punch to equal the game. That's in the way. When it refers to endurance, I say Miyata got like a few extra points over Freddy Gonzalez. Yeah, I say he got a few major points over it. Yeah, a few points. Gonzalez was like a 83. The Miyata be like an 87. I do think he is more durable than the Alf and especially the Jose Nargo. But even then, you don't dual exchange with Sendo. You don't take full punches from Sendo. And you don't Dempsey roll Sendo because apparently he's immune to that as well. Unless you do it twice. The only reason the second time it worked because of the Dempsey roll combination. And he made the same mistake that Sonata did. No. Actually, no. Sendo made that mistake and then Sonata followed it like a fool and got his ribs broken. So, yeah, it could go either way. Miyata hit them ropes, so he can have some quick corner. He has some excellent corner techniques. Unlike Freddy Gonzalez and Jose Nargo, we haven't seen nobody else work the ropes aside from Mishibe and Miyata the way they did. A little bit from Itagaki. So Miyata could get out of here, but even then, it depends. Sendo had a lot of pressure. But Miyata has excellent footwork and an excellent jab and straight punches. It is an interesting matchup nonetheless. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Hopefully. Don't count on the most recent thing like it's a corkscrew counting. Some nasty stuff there. Which can easily shake and even potentially drop a Sendo, especially he landed on clean like he did against Jimmy Fister. But it is enough to put him to sleep. Because there's no guarantee just one smash will take out Miyata. There's no guarantee of that. He's not like a Jose Narco. And even then, I could dual exchange with Sendo to a certain degree before he was put gently into that good night. And even then, it was once again a good solid smash. It wasn't a super smash. Even though the mangas and anime super smash stupid things, it was just a normal smash. China. And then you can go to your argument, do the Mexicans have a better jab than Japanese boxers? Samamura got an excellent jab. Miyata got a fantastic jab, and the flicker hitman style is amazing. But Mishima. But does the Mexicans have one better? Does Mexicans have a range and unfamiliarity that can give Sendo the edge over Miyata in the beginning rounds? But how long would that last? Yeah, and not including the fact the preparation time the both of them have with each other. This be able to figure each other out, be able to put together the techniques. Miyata had the ability to use the shoulder roll. There are a lot of scenarios where Miyata can get the best of Sendo with the counters and with the jabs and proper trapping and planning. But from that same merit, if Sendo decided, alright, forget this and dual exchange it, then it becomes even with the dual exchange, right? Sendo is not that prehistoric, alright? He's not like one of Mike Tyson's earlier opponents just using primitive techniques. It's not just the fact that Sendo have unorthodox punches. It's not just the fact that Sendo could change the direction of his punches. It's like every punch Sendo makes or throws to a certain point in the fight have a purpose. Whether it succeed or not, it all leads up to a purpose. Because even then, if Sendo takes too many counters or takes too many blows, Sendo can't adapt mid-round like he did against Sendo and Alfredo Gonzalez and get better right in the middle of the match. So it's not like it just, well, if Miyata dominates, that just Sendo's just going to roll over. Similar to Miyata, if Miyata take a few good punches and you learn and how Sendo throws the punches and learn how Sendo works his momentum, because it's different from the Sendo Ippo's figure 8 motion where it can be predicted and he's moving back and forth. Sendo throws out punches, and with the momentum from his previous punches, he set up another one, and it's a relentless combination. So if Miyata's able to catch and he misses again, catch him with another counter, it'll be fantastic. Miyata had the blueprint, but for how long would that work? What if Sendo chooses to pull up the cross arm guard? What happens then? So it's just the it depends. Depends what happens there. Because Sendo's punches can easily blow through Miyata's guard. Easily. Then it comes down to how many mistakes does Sendo make before Miyata figure them out. And then how long does it take for Sendo to adapt to Miyata. Because not like Miyata is going to roll over. It's just like when Sendo fought Vork. Vork was not showing up to roll over. Vork showed up to win. So it's not just you drop Miyata, the fight's going to be over. So especially if there's a chance if these two fight at a chance to fight at Makuruuchi, the tensions will be high, the stakes will be all on the lines. Who will take all of the ducats? Will it be Miyata or will it be Sendo? The fight would be magnificent, and I'll pay good pay-per-view money for that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the ideas, because it's just I might be a little rusty, maybe in an unusually happy mood, but I hope they don't feel different over this thing. But overall, that's more or less it. It's a yeah, that's more or less it. Because there's many ways this fight can play out. There's many ways for at any moment it could be an advantage or a disadvantage for either fighter. So even from that same merit, going into the later rounds, Miyata, even if he does take some good punches, he's not going to roll over. We've seen what he did against Mishima. We've seen what he did against Jimmy Fister. Just because you knock him down does not mean he's going to give up or quit. Similar to Sendo. There may be two different parts of the same table. There may be two different ends of the same cloth. Well, of the same quilt, but they still got that fire in their eyes. So I don't know. I know if Sendo decides, if Miyata decides to slug it out against Sendo, he's gonna get destroyed. From that same merit, if Sendo is gassed out, which we've never seen Sendo ever get tired, never get tired. But if Sendo is on spaghetti legs and Miyata is just countering him back to back, and he missed with a big swing joke counter, Sendo could potentially not get back up. Yeah, it's the ultimate showdown. Dream to beat a spear. Is it possible? Or is the spear just too far away for the axe to truly do anything? But let me stop here, guys. Thoughts and opinion. Do you believe that Miyata can easily dominate a Sendo? That Takeshi Sendo, the man from Osaka? Or do you believe that Sendo, the myth, the legend, the Rocky man himself, can easily chop down the Japanese Ichiro and take the championship for himself? Ippo versus Sendo 3, undisputed featherweight championship. The dream match will happen, damn it. It will. Hopefully. Let me make some MSWK now. Peace.